I'm exhausted with people driving by, their horns real loud. Last night I had to listen to several people going by screaming real loud that are homeless. They're having a rough time. And with them people driving by screaming the N-word at me and all that, I ended up having a real rough time too. I do want to say a few things here. I was afraid that, well, a lot of the paperwork I had to turn in, and also a lot of it I need to turn in the future, I gotta pay attention to who I talk to and what I say to them. And of course, what they say to me. Now, there was somebody who, she had her friend give me her number, and I was afraid that it might be one of those threatening, harassing, coercing kind of things that I had to deal with a lot of other people before. But it didn't end up being that way. It was a pleasant conversation. A lot of people have said, "Hey, Sean, you know what? I know you don't want violence, but the thing is, the dude has hit you over and over and over again and beaten the crap out of your car. You know, you should be allowed to defend yourself." And don't I know it? He violated the protection order already a few times, going to show, like I was saying all this time, that it's just a piece of paper. That piece of paper doesn't protect anyone. It'll help you get into court. But when people have ill intent, they have ill intent. So I made sure I don't want people getting in trouble for anything that they didn't do, did not initiate, didn't start, or anything like that. If you're going to get in trouble, you should only get in trouble for the stuff that you did. I want to state very loud and clear for the record that Andrew Wolnez did not force this person to talk to me, did not bully this person into talking to me, or anything of that nature, so far as I'm aware. This person did not try to threaten me, did not try to make me feel like I was any less of a human being. This person did not try to threaten me or make me feel like I'm less of a human being. And that really made a lot of impact. With Andrew telling people that he's going to kill me, that obviously is a big issue, especially after he said he'd shoot me already. Especially after beating on my vehicle repeatedly, beating on me and beating on my phone. I have to find a place to move my vehicle to. I don't have the money for insurance. I don't have the money for really anything. I went panhandling today. I got a little bit of money, but I'm having to basically force march myself to anywhere I need to go and do anything I need to accomplish. The screenshot on the front of this is from Chapel, Nebraska, when my sister was trying to help me to turn in Scott DaCosta, Leslie Paul, aka Leslie Snell. Registered Nebraska sex offender Robert Franklin Warnick. and Sheriff Scott DaCosta. There was also a guy named William Barr who used to be a police officer in Colorado. And hopefully in court I'll be allowed to show that the stuff wolnez is saying isn't true. And it's horrible for me to be victimized everywhere I go over it. The other thing is, I believe, given the right information, that Andrew could, number one, stop all this on his own, recognize how screwed up of a situation I am in. A lot of people have been really super patient with him. A lot of people have tried super hard for quite a few months. They did so because I requested it. I requested that they not retaliate in a negative way. If there's a safety issue, I'd prefer to retaliate by going to the law and by speaking up. I didn't used to be that way, and I'm still very much against that because it does not work. But if we work together, it does. I believe that there are a lot of alternatives to incarceration and imprisonment. When I was growing up, one of the things I learned about is that Jewish people learn to pray for their enemies before they pray for themselves. They're taught to pray that their enemy be not their enemy. And I've carried that with me my entire life. I always hope that these people will come to their senses. Now, one of these folks was telling me that one of his youngins was trying to get a hold of me, and I haven't talked to this one yet. And I'm hoping that if this person does reach out and talk to me themselves, that it's also not something where they're trying to harm me or threaten me or anything like that. I'm totally glad with the complete humility and, when somebody is humble, which, the person who talked to me yesterday was very humble and not disrespectful. Optimally, what I'll be able to do is take my videos and make them at least unlisted, because this stuff is not the world's business. It really shouldn't be. All of this should have been dealt with properly all the way back in Chesapeake, Virginia in 2016. And everything that has come from that situation, well, I gotta take the waves as they come at me, right? Isn't that what they say? Or what's the other one? Roll with the punches. Eventually, you gotta get sick of being punched. Now, for me, getting punched is not the end of the world. I mean, people had to tell me that I was punched in the head. When I was getting headbutted, I hardly felt it. When I was getting elbowed, I hardly felt it. So if I tell you something hurt, it really hurt. I could really use some help getting this stuff organized and together. Get this stuff with the child abuse and the abusers organized to get that turned into wherever the hell it needs to go. I could use some actual help following the actual laws and going the proper routes to turn in actual pedophiles, actual child abusers. I could use help in person doing that. Now, there's a lot of people who have been predatory towards me that they want my videos down. They hate that they got busted doing bad stuff. And even worse, it's on the internet. Well, maybe you try looking up my name, right? You look at the Sword and Scale, episode 109 and 110. You might realize that there's millions of views on those. See, he's not the first person that got the bright idea of targeting me, and he won't be the last one. I'll have to deal with people harming me for the rest of my life. Because police officers in Colorado and Nebraska didn't feel they needed to do their jobs. Same thing in Chesapeake, Virginia. Rather than following the law, they felt that, he's homeless, he's probably in the wrong, who cares? But that abuse ultimately resulted in my best friend getting her head blown off. The library here closes soon. I gotta make some photocopies tomorrow. So thank goodness the library is open. I hope, actually. I should say that. Knock on wood, right? There's an alternative to a lifelong protection order. If somebody could explain to him in court that the stuff that he's spouting about me and assaulting me over is stuff that is not my fault and did not happen. Yes, Natalie Bollinger is dead. Yes, she was shot in the head. Joseph Michael Lopez is the guy who did it. As far as my little sister goes, please leave my family alone. It didn't work. When Natalie's boyfriend was calling me up and January 2017. I should really say it like this. People were calling me up this year, even same exact thing. If you're threatening my friends and family, I'm gonna do desperate stuff. I don't want people hurting my friends or family. My little sister has permission to say whatever she wants if it's necessary to keep her and my niece safe. And I'll go along with it, and she is well aware. Now, my little sister shouldn't have to be afraid. She shouldn't have to be afraid for herself or for my niece. So when I say I'm not trying to stick up for Wolnez necessarily, that I'm trying to state for the record that I am not going to hold him responsible for any of the people who have gotten a hold of me. These people did state loud and clear, or rather at least gave me the impression that they were not doing this to try to threaten, harass, intimidate me, or anything of that nature. I don't believe that they did so to hurt me. I don't believe that they did so to be on my side or on his side or on anyone else's side. The thing with his campmates coming up and talking to me, that wasn't something where they were trying to be mean to him. It's something where they were trying to let me know. For a lot of them, he was just pissed off that they wouldn't jump on the bandwagon and come down and lynch me, And a lot of them, he's gone down to afterwards and tried to get them on his side. And they've let me know, hey, I'm not on his side or your side. But I know you were leaving him alone and he wouldn't leave you alone. And I also knew that you record. A lot of these people had already looked into it. I'm not going to hold that against him or pretend that those people coming up and letting me know is some sort of violation that he had somehow coerced them to come up and talk to me, because I don't feel that's the case. And they did not express that as being the case. They didn't come tell me these things because he's forcing them to. And I'm glad that the safety issues that they've brought to me, that some of them have actually taken upon themselves to help curb the enthusiasm in that department. Jeff has been supportive in the leave me alone department for a while. Ashley has been telling people to leave me alone. A lot of the folks at Safeway have kept me safe, just so you know. But also, it shouldn't have come to that point. Those people at Safeway are badass, no joke. They're working class. I'm glad for all of them. Now, there is absolutely a way for Andrew to get what he wants. That's by, number one, admitting he screwed up. He made a mistake, and he did wrong stuff as a result. I can forgive him for that. That's pretty easy, because I've been through worse. And I had at least one person stalk me here from Hood River, so it's not like this is my first rodeo. I had to deal with Molly, and I had to deal with Farnsworth when I first got here, so it's definitely not my first rodeo. Molly stopped, Farnsworth stopped. Now, as far as what Andrew wants for me to take my videos down, if he's able to admit that he screwed up, fess up to his mistakes, and offer to help to sort through all this evidence and turn in the actual predators, that's something we can work on. But also, if the judge feels that, I mean, this is a lot of fucking felonies. I'm pretty sure the state has to pick it up at this point. I'm fairly certain that more assaults on a person than just 6 is, I mean, yeah, there's a point where the state's not allowed to let it go. State of Colorado has that. State of Nebraska has that. State of Virginia has that. Nebraska has that. South Dakota has that. Montana has that. Washington State has that. California has that. And so, as well, does Oregon. And that's the part that sucks the most. Like, there were a lot of people who said, you know what, Sean, fuck this being patient bullshit. Just let me beat his ass and he'll leave you alone. I was like, no, I want help turning it in, getting him to stop. You know, maybe if somebody showed him what's really going on here, maybe he'd knock his stuff off. Maybe if he looked at the evidence between me and Natalie, our conversations, he realized what he's doing is wrong. Maybe if he looked up the most simple thing, who killed Natalie Bollinger? Let's look that up right now. We'll ask Google. It's 5:40, so I only got 20 minutes left in the library. Who killed Natalie Bollinger?
Joseph Michael Lopez. According to the Denver Post, Joseph Lopez was sentenced to 48 years in prison. Joseph Michael Lopez pleaded guilty in Adams County District Court to second-degree murder for killing 19-year-old Natalie Bollinger in exchange for a dismissal of the first-degree murder charge prosecutors originally filed, online court records show.
All right, now let's look another one up. Sean Schwartz, Everypedia.
These pictures should match.
No, it shows Deshaun Schwartz. Oh well. Oh wow. There's a Dr. Sean K. Schwartz in Lincoln, Nebraska. She received her medical degree from Universidad de Guadalajara and has been in practice. Wow, that's pretty cool to learn. That's not what we were looking up, is it? We were going to listen to something that was really old. It's usually when people start cross-referencing my name and all that, they come across Everypedia and it tries claiming that I killed Natalie. And it hasn't been updated since well before they picked up Natalie Bollinger's actual killer, Joseph Michael Lopez. if people actually looked at the correspondence between Natalie and I, they'd realize we were friends, and we were just friends. And if they listen to those who have read all the messages between Natalie and I, they'd know that she thought she was in love with me. It wasn't mutual. I am going to take down some of the videos from this week because of the safety for, well, 3 or 4 people, but for one in specific, because I don't know, I think it might have been better off for her if I hadn't returned her message. You know, the whole just because somebody gave you a number doesn't mean you have to call it. But like I said, you know, there wasn't any animosity with that situation, and it wasn't like, you know, it was a whole bunch of people trying to pressure me to do it. It wasn't like, you know, anything of that nature. It's real tough. A lot of people think that it's okay to hurt people that nobody cares about. And out here on the streets, you know, you don't record people. You don't tell on people. You mind your business and you look the other way. And a lot of people don't know how to turn it in. They're petrified of the police. They're petrified of the courts. They're petrified of their families. They're petrified of the other homeless people, and they're petrified of people in houses. So they never bother to try to record because they know they're too afraid to turn it in. As a result of that, a lot of people, especially out here on the streets, are unguarded. A lot of police didn't expect that they'd be recorded. A lot of child molesters did not expect they were going to be recorded. A lot of physical abusers did not expect that they were going to be recorded. I do have to worry about the judge. This is funny. I try to find ways to deal with my problems without violence. But that's really, 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 really super difficult to do when people are getting violent with you. When people are harming you and you speak out, it feels horrible to be treated like you deserved the abuse because you spoke out. This is something men have to deal with from our society more than women, but that doesn't mean that women don't have to deal with it too. Like, sure, this person beat on you or harmed you in whatever way. But you shouldn't run to the cops about it, because we're poor people and the cops don't care. They just make it more dangerous for everyone. Some of the other victims were pissed off that their names and the names of their predators were on my channel after they told me those things. But the fact that their name and the name of their predator is up there helps them if there is an abuse situation. There's also that, in addition to the fact that many of these predators were threatening these people for trying to help me, which makes them witnesses to the threats, harassment, intimidation, coercion, assaults, physical and financial abuse, and in some occasions sexual abuse. I never wanted to have a YouTube channel, and I certainly never thought that I'd have a YouTube channel for this. Somebody calling himself Cody Carpenter typed, hey. I think that's one of the youngins who was hanging out down there at the Tillamook Sporting Goods parking lot. Am I incorrect, Cody? Library's about to close, so I gotta pack up my stuff and head out. Cody Carpenter typed, how's it going? Well, there was a bunch of them youngins screaming the N-word at me last night. Cody Carpenter typed, I remember you. There was a few of them down there that were not problems at all, didn't give me any issues whatsoever. There was one youngin down there, he said he just turned 18 and his name was Hunter, and he was really nice to me. There was also, what's that other youngin's name? I'm trying to remember, it's just not coming to me right now. Cody Carpenter typed from Chapel, Nebraska. I don't know a Cody Carpenter from Chapel, Nebraska. I am from Chapel, Nebraska. I thought maybe you one of the youngins that wolnez at first originally started harassing me over. The youngins that were continue screaming the N-word at me. They were doing that again last night and this morning. I recorded the first 3 times, or no, I didn't record the first 3 times because it took a minute to start my phone up. And the second 3 times I was able to record it. And then the third 3 times I was already like, screw this, I'm not gonna bother. I already got it recorded that it's happening. I don't have to. I was down to like 12% battery on my phone by that point anyway. Cody Carpenter typed, we never met, but I've seen you a few. I hope you're doing well, man. Well, I'm not doing well, but I'm trying. And there's some folks here who are trying to help me too. After the situation with the cops in Nebraska doing what they did to me and also harassed my little sister, you know, it made it real tough. Cody Carpenter typed, I'm not from Chapel, I'm from Southern California, but I visited and everyone said you were a really nice guy. Yes, where I used to be. Same thing in Boulder, Colorado. You wouldn't heard a harsh word about me in Boulder, Colorado prior to 2016. Very end of 2016. Good night, thank you. I'm getting ready to go on the elevator, so I'll be probably disconnected from the internet for a minute. I was nice until people started threatening my friends and family. When they started threatening me and the very beginning of 2017. And Miss Jerry was a friend of mine for a lot of years, and we had stopped being friends. I gotta complain again. You people rock. Thank you. I will, you too. Everybody here at the library is super cool. Everybody. Like, even when they gotta come talk to you because there's an issue, they talk to you nicely and friendly and like you're a person. They don't snap at you and yell at you. You know, one of the best things about it is that they don't call the coppers. They'll talk to you like you're a person. They won't start swinging and hooting and hollering. They'll talk to you like you're a person. Let's see. Cody Carpenter type. I see some of your videos. Sad to see, but I hope all goes well with you. Well, it can go well as long as people speak up. Right now, one of the things I'm worried about is damage control and all that. But I'm going to explain to you why it's completely ludicrous as well. I don't want Wolnez getting in trouble for anything that he did not do. If he didn't do it and it's not his fault, it shouldn't be used against him. Somebody else talking to me about him, that isn't his fault. He didn't coax them into doing so. Although assaulting a disabled person fucking repeatedly and beating the fuck out of their vehicle repeatedly is actually a lot more fucked up as far as the law goes, as far as the way they take it or look at it. The more people speak up, the better off it'll be, but you know how that goes. People get scared. There's a lot of people in Chapel, Nebraska that knew me as an artist and as a super nice guy. And there's a few of those people I stopped being friends with just because I didn't know what was up. I just had to worry about my little sister and my niece at that point. One of the people I ditched over that, there was some stuff with my little sister that it wasn't her fault. She didn't do it. She didn't deserve what people were doing to her. She still doesn't. Now, although he's not allowed to harass me through a third party, and he did not harass me through one of these particular parties, like, you know, these people they're letting me know that it's not for him and he's not asking him to do it and stuff like that, you know. They don't talk to him. Kyron Rhodes, that's the other one. Kyron was super nice. He also told me he was 23 when he was only 17, which is, well, it's disrespectful as fuck, but he's actually taken part in some of the bullying since then. I think it's mostly because he wanted to impress the kids he hangs out with. No, I'm not making excuses, it's still wrong. You really can't mistake what was done to my vehicle. If you hit a person, like, you really gotta sock them on something solid for it to make a real good noise. But you kick the crap out of a vehicle, you can hear every bit of it on video. The wind keeps messing up my hair out here. It's getting all razzly and frazzly. Anyway, folks at Safeway have kept me as safe as they can. Looked out for me as best as they can. There's a few of the homeless people that had an issue with me, and they did the best they could to mend that up, especially recently, because, you know, you can read the writing on the wall. And people have been telling me, you know, don't be nice about it. You know, tell the judge that you want to hang and judge, basically. Tell him to throw the book at him. And yeah, I understand that his behavior totally warrants that. I do. I really do. But like, you think we could try something different? That's the thing that he hasn't understood. Could we try something different? Could we try looking at evidence and taking it seriously? Cody Carpenter typed, I'm at my job doing loss prevention with Home Goods right now. I'm reviewing footage while I listen to your story. What state are you in now? Still Oregon? Yup, I'm still in Tillamook. Also, I'm kind of forced marching myself at this point. My back hurts, my legs hurt. I was told for certain it's not MS a long time ago. So as long as it's not that, right? I was told it's probably just muscle fatigue, and from where my back is screwed up, that could have something to do with it. Probably does. Anyway, I gotta go to the bathroom and get myself some coffee, and well, I don't need to record inside of the Safeway because I don't feel anyone's gonna try hurting me in there. So you know how we end these videos. Good to be with you. Thank you for coming to visit. Stay out of trouble or don't get caught. Remember, you are your brother's keeper and your sister's keeper too. And no victim left behind.